evening, Trojans. Welcome to a special Halloween edition of Annenberg TV News.
Promising a lot of spookiness and fun coming up next.
Annenberg TV News is next.
For the first time, students can vote on campus thanks to the LA County Mobile Voting Center. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Lee.
And I'm Bailey Harrison. The truck was at the Village all day before heading to the Health and Science Center and Kia Forum tomorrow. The Mobile Voting Center started during the pandemic as the county implemented a new voting solution. This program takes a community-based approach and collaborates with various partners throughout the county to allow people to vote. We spoke with the president of Vote SC and students on how this could increase political participation.
In terms of sort of systemic and structural barriers that prevent people from accessing the ballot box, I think mobile voting centers are a huge push in the right directions because it allows you to bring the vote to people. And the best part about these mobile voting centers is because you're voting early, you're allowed to cast provisional ballots.
If we're not participating in democracy, that's why we think it's not working. And so you have to participate in order for it to actually work.
If you're an LA County resident, there's no excuse not to vote, I guess, because it's so accessible. But a lot of people on campus are out of state, so be sure to get your mail-in ballot.
Early voting sites have popped up in 35 states around the country. This has led to a historic increase in midterm votes, with states like Georgia and Texas already surpassing 1 million ballots cast. But voter turnout remains low among young adults.
There will be students on campus who will vote and will know others that don't, and they'll say, oh, I don't know what's wrong with my fellow students. That kind of apathy narrative actually sets up young people to fail. And what it really is an excuse not to support young people, not to put resources towards making voting easier, but also as a learning community, understanding for those that don't participate what's really going on, and again, in a bigger way, what can we do to support young people and not perpetuate the apathy narrative.
Here are the early voting center locations on campus. The yellow pins on the map are drop box locations only. The USC Village is the closest for most students and is located right by Target and Trader Joe's. The green pins on the map are in-person voting and ballot drop-off locations. One of the closest locations is at Vermont Avenue Elementary School, so vote. It's easy, convenient, and important. With just over a week until Election Day, mayoral candidate Karen Bass bashed her opponent Rick Caruso on his campaign spending and his recent switch to the Democratic Party.
Imagine how many people could have been housed with $100 million, but instead $100 million was spent lying about who he is and certainly lying about who I am. You can't just change your party registration, change your viewpoints, and spend tens of millions of dollars trying to convince people that you're somebody that you're not.
We reached out to the Caruso campaign and got this response, quote, I'm a proud Democrat. This election is about fixing homelessness and ending corruption within this broken system. Karen can't and won't do that because she's part of the broken system. The choice is simple, more of the same or time to change.
South Korean officials are facing scrutiny over their decision to have only 137 officers manage a crowd of 100,000 people, leading to one of Korea's deadliest tragedies. Experts claim the Halloween gathering was poorly prepared. 154 people were killed, including 2 college students from universities in Kentucky and Georgia. ATVN is a tourist hotspot in South Korea and popular among young partygoers. 97 of the victims were young women. We spoke to a student whose family lives in Seoul.
It hasn't synced in yet. I kind of don't still, my mind kind of doesn't comprehend how pushing in a crowd ended up into 200 people just ended up like that. But it is definitely scary as a woman, just, seeing some men just pushing everyone. Yeah, I do think I won't be attending some large events like this, but comments and just attacks on the internet made me just sadder about the event.
Even the task force created to investigate the crowd surge is 3 times larger than the task force at the event. Experts say the Halloween crowd surge was, quote, absolutely avoidable, end quote. After 5 hours of arguments today, it's looking like the Supreme Court is ready to end affirmative action. Christina, this will have a huge impact right here at USC, right?
That's right, Jeffrey. Affirmative action policies have protected racial equity in college admissions for almost 60 years, but they could be overturned in the near future. The conservative majority Supreme Court questioned the educational benefit of racial diversity in the two cases involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
I think what it'll mean for Black and Hispanic and Native American students is that there'll be fewer of them in our selective colleges and universities. They are systematically segregated in unequal schools, so they're unequally prepared for college. Their families, of course, are very disadvantaged in terms of income and resources for college. For Asian students, it'll probably mean a slight increase in representation in very selective colleges.
Polls show most white, Asian, and Hispanic Americans say colleges should not consider race in admissions, but Black Americans are divided. The role of race in college admissions has been debated for decades, and it's unclear whether this time the court's decision will be the final word. A final decision from the Supreme Court is not expected until late June. If the court decides to end affirmative action, the impact will likely be felt beyond college admissions. Bailey, Jeffrey, back to you.
Thanks, Christina. Today, LAPD announced new rules about ghost guns. They are calling for the public to help them track down ghost gun manufacturers with a new cash reward as an incentive. Ghost guns are unregistered and unlicensed. This makes them untraceable for the police. Los Angeles has seen an increase of crimes involving these weapons. Chief Michel Moore discussed the new incentive for getting these weapons off the streets.
As tips come in and we locate individuals who are manufacturing these weapons, reward monies, hundreds of dollars, and in larger scale operations, thousands of dollars of reward payments will be made.
The LAPD hopes that this new incentive of the cash rewards will encourage the public to help the police track down these illegal guns.
The LA County Sheriff is campaigning for another 4-year term. The former Long Beach Chief of Police wants his job. Reporter Maya Mari Vinette spoke to both candidates for the report.
Well, first, let's address what Mr. Luna just said. One, he's not going to touch public corruption. He won't touch it with a 10-foot pole because his job as puppet is to look the other way.
The race for LA County Sheriff has been a contentious one. Long Beach Police Chief Robert Luna is trying to unseat incumbent Sheriff Alex Villanueva.
Working with people, that doesn't mean you're a puppet. That means you're working with people to collaborate at the end of the day to serve our community, the members of our county, in the best way possible.
The LA County Sheriff's Department is the largest in the country. Whoever wins this race will be in charge of about 18,000 employees. Sheriff's deputies patrol neighborhoods, protect the courts, and oversee the jail system of about 15,000 inmates. Throughout Villanueva's 4 years in office, there have been department-wide accusations of unconstitutional policing practices. The California Department of Justice launched an investigation into the Sheriff's Department in 2021. When asked about the controversies, Villanueva had this to say.
Well, when you talk about controversies, you're talking about the effectiveness of politicians leveraging the media for their gain. But when you look at actual facts, what makes me controversial is that I actually do my job.
He has very combative relationships with anybody who disagrees with him. The only way to get things done in today's world is to have an excellent relationship with our community, with other government officials.
Luna has endorsements from the entire LA County Board of Supervisors and the Los Angeles Times. Villanueva is endorsed by the Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs. So, will voters decide to bring back Villanueva, or will there be a new sheriff in town? For ATVN, I'm Maya Mari Bennett.
Thanks so much, Maya. The LA County Sheriff's Department is warning parents to watch out for candy that might be laced with fentanyl as families go trick-or-treating. DEA agents seized 12,000 fentanyl pills disguised as candy at LAX earlier this month. The department's statement is fueling long-held fears of Halloween candy harming children. We spoke with a sociology professor at the University of Delaware who says this panic is overblown.
We don't believe in ghosts and goblins much anymore, but we believe in criminals. If there's a little child who got poisoned by Halloween candy, it would be a big news story. And there aren't big news stories about this. Drug traffickers are in the business of selling drugs for a profit. They don't give them away. And if you are going to give them away, you wouldn't give them away to an elementary school student who doesn't have any money.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi returns home after her husband's attack. Find out why there are so many conspiracy theories about the incident.
Are the skies full of UFOs? We have all the info on Congress's UFO briefing.
The Powerball jackpot reaches $1 billion. We'll talk with people hoping to be the lucky winner.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, was attacked this past weekend. His alleged attacker was charged with assault and attempted kidnapping today. The attacker, David DePape, is invested in many far-right conspiracy theories online in a personal blog. DePape's blog included shocking images of Nancy Pelosi and conspiracies about QAnon and anti-Semitism. Nancy Pelosi left D.C. to be with her husband and family in San Francisco. She tweeted that she is grateful for the life-saving medical care he is receiving. We talked to experts about the dangers of conspiracy theories. The new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, shared a link on the app in response to the Pelosi news break. The link led to an article from a source known to publish false news.
If people were to act on those theories, there could be deleterious consequences. And Trump's allies for the last several years have used conspiracy theories to build a coalition of people. Now the former president has a group following him who are very much motivated by conspiratorial thought.
There's a moment we're living through now where serious political activists and actors are either aligning themselves to people who are becoming detached from reality or are themselves becoming detached from reality, and that's pretty dangerous.
Elon Musk responded to Hillary Clinton on Twitter with the link to the Santa Monica Observer, saying, quote, "There is a tiny possibility there might be more to this story than meets the eye," end quote. Following Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, Musk has brought in employees from Tesla in an effort to keep trusted supporters at his new company. Musk uploaded a tweet captioned, quote, "The bird is freed," end quote, following the takeover. Some Twitter users are concerned of the potential dangers that unmoderated free speech on the platform could pose. We spoke to a law professor at UCLA about Musk's plans.
I do think that the current moderation patterns by Twitter are a threat to free speech. And while, of course, speech is dangerous, suppression of speech is more dangerous. I'm inclined to say he's probably right. The right way of dealing with disagreement on such matters, I think, is through more debate, not through having powerful platforms that have immense potential influence on public debate suppress one or another view on the subject.
TheVerge.com reports that Twitter may soon charge a $20 monthly fee for users to keep their verification, which has led to backlash from users.
Do you think you're the winner of the second largest Powerball jackpot? Tonight before 7 is your last chance to snag the winning ticket for $1 billion. The winning numbers will be announced tonight at 8, but the chance of a single ticket matching all 6 numbers is about 1 in 292 million. We interviewed 4 locals at the AM/PM on Vermont to hear what they will do with the money if they win.
I would have paid my mom's house completely, and that's about it.
Invest in like some property, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Treat my family, of course.
Probably give it back to my beautiful Black-owned businesses.
Well, I have a big family, so I'd make sure they will be all secure.
We've got Michaela here with the weather for the week. Hopefully it's a little bit chillier since she's in her penguin costume.
Yes, Bailey, from the South Pole to South Central, it sure is cold outside. But the weather isn't stopping the nighttime festivities. As we saw earlier, things are picking up in various cities across the country as people are heading out for a fun-filled night. Now, if you're having a fun night here in LA, here's the current temperatures that you can expect. Right now, we're looking at 71 degrees, and it's only going to get colder tonight. And we can also see that in our hourly forecast. So pulling that up at 8 p.m., we're going to start to see a decrease, or no, we're going to move into the 5-day forecast instead. So starting off with Tuesday, we have 70 degrees, and then we're going to start to see it slow down and decrease in temperatures as we get into Thursday, which is going to be our lowest temperature. But we're really going to focus on is this weekend, because we have homecoming weekend where the alumni are all going to come back, and what we're focusing on is the low. So we have 45 degrees and 48 degrees. So if you are going out for homecoming weekend, make sure to bring a jacket. That was all that I have for you guys today. My name is Michaela Wegner. Have a fun and safe Halloween weekend. Jeffrey, Bailey, do you guys have any plans for tonight?
I think today is just going to be a movie night for me, but it's definitely not too late to get into the Halloween spirit. Reporter Vincent DeMonte is live at the Village where a spooky event is just getting started.
Thanks, Bailey. We're here live at the USC Village Great Lawn where things just got a little bit chillier and a little bit spookier. As you can see behind me, folks of all ages have decided to come to USC's Village to celebrate the Halloween holiday. Tonight is the Spirits of Troy Halloween event hosted by USC, RHA, and the shops at the USC Village, and it is sure to leave its visitors screaming with joy. Tonight's event promises raffle prizes, games, giveaways, and as you can see behind me, a bounce house. So many of the shops here at the Village will also be handing out candy for trick-or-treaters, and I, for one, as you can see, dressed up in my Reno 911 costume, will definitely be taking advantage of that free Halloween candy. So we are here live actually with one of the vendors here today, Jamie, who is from the Parkside Residential Hall. Come on in here, Jamie. And their booth, Parkside, Other Side booth, inspired by Coraline, as you can see in this awesome costume here. All right, so Jamie, just to start off, tell us a little bit about the event that's going on here right now.
So basically this event was set up by USC's RHA. So they're basically in charge of all the community councils, which are basically a group of students who organize events for each one of the dorms. So for tonight, every single dorm has set up a booth to represent themselves, and usually they pick a theme and they pick a game and they exchange candy and, engage with the kids in the neighborhood. So it's sort of like a trick-or-treating event, but involving USC's housing community.
Awesome. So there's a lot of people here of all ages here. You got adults to young kids. How does it feel to be able to spend the Halloween holiday with families and young kids here today?
Well, it feels amazing for me because Halloween has always been special, and my family especially, because it was a tradition I did with me and my dad. We're very big candy fanatics. We're huge candy fans, so we'd be super excited to go around the neighborhood and get as much candy as we could from our neighbors, legally, of course, and exchange candy and have some fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We hope you have a happy and safe Halloween. And so for everyone here, tonight's Halloween festivities will be haunting visitors until 8 p.m. tonight. So make sure to grab a bucket, a costume, and a friend and head on down to the USC Village for some Halloween fun. And for our visitors at home and everyone in the studio, I hope everyone has a safe and happy Halloween. For Annenberg Media, I'm Vincent DeMonte. Now back to Bailey in the studio.
Thanks, Vincent. There are many Halloween events tonight. You have trick-or-treating St. John's Cathedral on Adams and Figueroa Street from 5 to 7. A Halloween festival for kids from 5 to 8 at Fidham, and a Halloween extravaganza at the Church of Scientology from 4 to 9.
Coming up on ATVN Sports, the College Football Playoff Committee rankings come out tomorrow. We'll tell you which teams could have a spooky Tuesday. This water polo trick shot was one of how many goals for the Trojans? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. And football spent Halloween weekend with a win over Arizona. But was it a treat to watch? All of this and more next.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Dylan Brazier.
And I'm Michael Fumafredo.
The AP poll was released yesterday, and USC is now 9th in the nation. But with the college football playoff rankings coming out tomorrow, Michael and I have predicted the top 10. My top 10, we got to have Georgia at number 1, give me Tennessee at number 2, and I want Ohio State with Michigan followed, and I'm taking Alabama over Clemson. It should not even be close. And I want TCU at 7 with USC, Oregon, and UCLA closely behind. You know, kind of controversial, I have USC ahead of Oregon purely based on the fact that USC didn't lose by 46. Yes, Oregon looks like a different team now, but I have to take USC ahead of them.
Really, no love towards the Pac-12, Dylan? I could see the committee favoring them over the Big 12. Here's why, though. The AP poll hates to acknowledge the Pac. But the committee, who's been watching every game, they'll take note of how strong the conference has been this season. Undefeated TCU's rank will shock people tomorrow. But I have Oregon as the top Pac-12 team instead of USC just because the Utah loss is a little bit fresher in people's minds. Doesn't necessarily mean USC is out of the playoffs. More performances like Saturday's will show the committee that they belong. What happened on Saturday, you might be asking now? Well, the Trojans traveled to Arizona and defeated the Wildcats 45-37 behind a career game from Caleb Williams. Williams threw for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns, despite missing top wide receivers Jordan Addison and Mario Williams. It was Taj Washington and Kyle Ford stepping up in their place, grabbing 11 passes for over 200 yards and 3 scores. Travis Dye also cracked 100 yards on the ground, and Malik Brown scored his first touchdown as a Trojan. Congrats to him. The Coliseum will be rocking for USC's homecoming game Saturday, and with so much depth on offense now, Dylan, do you see any adjustments to this game plan moving forward?
Yeah, I can definitely see some tricks on defenses with some new offensive weapons, but we'll see. And speaking of Halloween and tricks, let's talk about USC's remaining schedule to see which games are tricks and which are treats. First up, we got Cal this weekend. Michael, what do you say?
I mean, come on, it's homecoming. USC's still a little angry from that Utah loss. I think they're going to come out firing just like they did last week. This is an easy trick for a team against a team that's lost 4 straight games. And one of those losses was actually to USC's next game after that, Colorado. Dylan, what are your thoughts on
Definitely.
that one? Trick or treat?
You got to love this game. Colorado's 1-7, and they're last in the Pac-12 in pretty much every category. Stats, points, yards, you name it, they're last. So I got to love this game. It's a treat for sure. It's going to be a field day for Caleb on the offense, and we're in the Coliseum. I got to love it.
It's going to be a fun one. It's on a Friday, too.
Of course, yeah. And the most anticipated game of the season, we got the crosstown rivalry, USC. What do you say?
This is going to be a high-scoring game. 2 potentially top 10 teams. Probably going to be a tricky game for the players. However, from a fan's perspective, this game's sure going to be a treat. And maybe College Game Day thinks so.
Definitely.
I think that's a spot they'd like to go to. It's got to be.
I want to see that.
And then rivalry weekend, that's not the last game of the year. Notre Dame will be. This one, you think?
I'm not a big fan of this game. You know, Notre Dame is probably the most inconsistent team of college football right now. You know, they have wins over teams like Syracuse, but losses over Marshall. So we don't know what team we're going to get that Saturday, and I don't like that. I'm calling it a trick.
Really, end on a low note, but we'll bring it back up now because Jake Earhart jumped not one, but 2 spots in the career goals leaderboard for men's water polo with a 5-goal performance Sunday against Stanford. Earhart and 6 others celebrated their senior day with a 19-14 victory over the Cardinal. Every Trojan that was honored either scored or recorded a save in the contest. 19 goals is also the most USC has ever scored against Stanford, and the most goals Stanford allowed in a game this season. USC men's and women's water polo host their alumni games this week before the final game of the season against number 1 ranked UCLA the week after.
Sounds good. Well, that's going to be a good one to watch. And thanks for tuning in to your sports update. I'll hand it on over to Bailey with the rest of your nightly news.
Is there life beyond Earth? An aerospace expert tells us how UFOs could be possible.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
Up in the sky, is that a bird? Or a plane? Or is that a UFO? Today, the Director of National Intelligence updated Congress on a string of unidentified aerial phenomena. While some of them have been found to be drones and weather balloons, others have gone unexplained. The 2022 defense bill requires phenomena on the Halloween of every year until 2026. A USC expert believes that if these sightings are accurate, there is a possibility that the crafts were not made by Earthlings.
That's a significant leap in terms of technology to be able to go from the darkness and blackness and vacuum of space down to the environment inside Earth, huge amount of thermal loads, atmospheric loads, and then go back up again without having any issues. Yes, I absolutely believe there is life in the galaxy and the universe. But again, the question is, are they flying around the Earth sort of buzzing us, right? I'm not sure.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Jeffrey Lee.
And I'm Bailey Harrison. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night and happy Halloween.